Very good morning to all of you guys. Welcome back. I hope you guys are doing good. So, in the previous session, we started with process costing, wherein we discussed what is process costing. That is, a process costing is a method of costing used by those companies or manufacturing concerns wherein the raw material has to pass through two or more than two processes before being converted into final product. Thereafter, we discussed the basic format of process costing. Further, we discussed normal loss, abnormal loss, and abnormal gain. When talking about the normal loss, the loss that is inherent in nature and bound to happen and can be predicted by the management is normal loss. When talking about the treatment of normal loss, the value of normal loss will be absorbed by good units. Any scrap value realized will be deducted from the process cost to calculate the total cost of process, or we can say process cost per unit. Thereafter, we discussed abnormal loss. The loss over and above the normal loss is abnormal loss. It cannot be predicted in advance, and further, yes, if suitable measures are taken, then it can be avoided. When talking about the treatment of abnormal loss, it is shown on the credit side of process account and thereafter transferred to costing P&L. Further, when talking about abnormal gain, when the actual production exceeds the expected production, we call it as abnormal gain, or we can say it is a saving in normal loss. Further, it is to be shown in debit side of process account and thereafter transferred to costing P&L. So if you guys have any doubts or queries till now, you guys can please post your queries. Else, we will start with the full-fledged question wherein we'll be covering all the points in detail. Good morning, Buma. Good morning, Dharani. Good morning, Priyanshi, Almas, Gurmeet. Very good morning, guys. Good morning, Rajita. Good morning, Mr. Nikhil. Good morning, Samohini. So now we'll be starting with a full-fledged question. So I'll be discussing a question from study material. The same question is there in my material also. So the question number is, one second. So I'm discussing illustration number 3 from study material, or we can say example number 4 from my material. So let's start with example number 4 from my material, or we can say illustration number 3 from study material. It's on page number 10.13. So let's start with this question, illustration number 3. So RST Limited processes product Z through two distinct process first and process second. On completion, it is transferred to finished stock. From the following information, for the current year, we are required to prepare process first account, process second account, and finished stock account. The particulars are given as raw material used, the raw material cost per unit, transferred to the next process or finished stock, that is the units transferred from the process or the process first and process second, in fact, The normal loss on input is given, that is 5% and 10% for process first and second. The direct wages are given, the direct expenses are given. When talking about direct expenses, it is percentage of direct wages. Further, the manufacturing overheads are also given. A realizable value of scrap per unit is also given. Now, 6,000 units of finished goods were sold at a profit of 15% on cost. Assume that there is no opening and closing stock of work in progress. So we are required to prepare process first account, second account, and finished stock account. So Moini, I'm referring illustration number 3 from study material RST Limited. So let's start with this illustration. This question is the summary of the points or concepts we have discussed till now. So raw material, it is 7,500 units. And the rate per unit is 60. So this will be 4,50,000. Further, we have the wages also, that is 1,35,750. Direct expenses are 60% of direct wages. So 135,750 into 60%. So this will be 81,450. Thereafter, manufacturing overheads are 20% of direct wages. So this will be 27,150. Further, normal loss is given in the question. It is given as 5% of the input. So 7,500 into 5%. So this will be 375. Further, the scrap value realized on sale of normal loss is 12.5%. So it will be 4687.5, or we can say 4688. You can take the figures in decimal also, it's up to you. I'm just taking it on the round. I'm just taking the rounding of figures. Now the units that are transferred to the next process, so by process second, it is given in the question that the units that are transferred to the next process is 7,050. Now see, 7,500 was the input, 5% was the normal loss. So my expected output was 7,125. However, my actual output is 7,050. So we can say there is an abnormal loss of how many units? 75 units. Alternatively, we can say this, the total should tally 7,500 and 7,500. So I was expecting an output of 7,125 unit. However, my actual output is 7,050. So we can say there is an abnormal loss of 75 units. Now, we have to calculate the value of abnormal loss and we have to calculate the value of the units that are transferred to the next process. So let's calculate the total cost: 4,50,000, 135,750, 81,450, 27,150. So this will be 694,350. So let's calculate the cost per unit. The process cost minus the scrap value that is realized on sale of normal loss divided by the inputs minus the normal loss. If you guys have any doubts or queries till now, you guys can please post your query. So now let's multiply it by 7050. We'll get the total amount. So if we multiply this value by 7050, it will be 682,402. The value of abnormal loss will be 7260. If you guys have any doubts or query, you guys can please post your queries. Yes, you can take it as this figure also 403 and this will be 7259. It's up to you guys. Both the answers are correct. Many students posted this answer, so I'm taking this. So it's basically the rounding of difference of 1 rupee. So no need to worry. Now, so here we have prepared process first account. Now let's prepare abnormal loss account also for your reference. Can anyone post the answer that how much amount will be transferred to costing P&L in abnormal loss? Waiting for your answers. In the meanwhile, I'll solve the question also. Please quickly calculate how much amount will be transferred to costing P&L in case of abnormal loss. Don't see the solution, try to calculate it. So here in this abnormal loss, to process first, 75 and 7259. So how much will be transferred to costing P&L? Waiting for your answers. Edwin sir, are you there? Edwin sir? सर वीडियो स्टक हुआ था क्या? ओके, नाउ इट इज ओके, परफेक्ट ना? अच्छा, ये ज्यादा ग्लिच आ रहा है क्या? पहले भी आया था क्या? आई डोंट नो व्हाई. ओके. Okay, so Kinari, your answer is correct. Very good. Gurmeet, incorrect answer. So herein we have got this amount 757259. Now, just like normal loss, these units are also sold in the market. So 75 into the scrap value that is given in the question, that is 12.5. So this will be 937.5. So we can say 938. So by costing P&L, 6321. We'll keep it 937. So this is the way you have to prepare abnormal loss account. If you guys have any doubts or queries, you guys can please post your query. So Rajita, Samuhini, and now it is clear. I hope I'm audible and visible to you guys. Nikhil Darji, you can just please download the material from the portal. Now, let's start with the next part, that is process second account. Now, here in the output of process first is transferred to the next process, that is process second. So input of process second will be what? The output received from process first. So to process first, 7050 and 682403. Now, the conversion cost we will see. So when talking about wages, it is 129,250. Direct expenses and manufacturing overheads are there. So when talking about direct expenses, it is 65% of direct wages. So it will be 84012. And manufacturing overheads are 15%. Again, we will write the normal loss, that is 10% of the input. The normal loss is 10% of the input. So this will be 705. And the scrap value that is realized on sale of normal loss, it is 37.5. So this will be 26437. Further, the units that are transferred to the finished stock is given in the question. So by finished stock account, that is 6525. Now see again the same process. We were expecting an output of 6345. That is 7050 minus 705. So we were expecting an output of 6345. However, my actual output is 6525. That is 180 more than I expected. So when the actual output exceeds the expected output, we call it as abnormal gain. We can call it as balancing figure also. To abnormal gain 180 units. So we can call it as balancing figure also. So again, we'll follow the same process to calculate the cost per unit. That is input 7050 minus the normal loss 705. When talking about the process cost 682,403 plus 129,250. So this will be 140 point. So this is the way you have to prepare process second account. If you guys have any doubts or queries, you guys can please post your queries. Very good, Gurmeet. Now, let's prepare. Now, let's prepare normal loss and abnormal gain account also. So, when talking about normal loss, we will write for process second. We can prepare normal loss account for process first also, but it will be to process first and buy bank. So, not required as such. 705 and 26,437 by abnormal gain units, that is 180 units. Balance, we will get the units that are sold in the market. So as I said, abnormal gain is what? Saving in normal loss. So 705 minus 180 units. The units that are sold in the market is only 525. Now let's prepare abnormal gain account also. So here in abnormal gain, by process second, 180 units and 25,209. Now let's transfer it from the normal loss, that is to normal loss, that is 180 units and 6750. Balance amount will be transferred to costing P&L. So this is what my balancing figure. So when talking about this amount, it is, see, by finished stock account, that is 6525 into 140.0496. This is how I got 913824. I'm showing the calculation for your reference. That is 6525 into 140.0496. This is how I got this amount. So I hope it is clear, Mr. Nikhil and Muzahid, Mr. P. Muzahid and Nikhil. I hope it is clear. Mr. Mujahid? Okay, great. Very good, Samohini. So we are done with abnormal gain account, normal loss account. Those who want to copy this part, please copy. I'm erasing this part because I have to prepare finished goods account and costing P&L. So I request you guys to please copy this part, that is abnormal loss account. So I think the solution is not there in the study material for this part. That is, one second, let me check. So yes, guys, abnormal loss account is not given in the study material. So I request you guys to please copy this part especially. Giving you 2 minutes time. Giving you 2 minutes time. I request you guys to please copy abnormal loss account. Now let's prepare finished stock account. So let's start with finished stock account. So here you see the units that are received from process second is 6525 and the value for the same is 913824. Out of this units, 6,000 units are sold in the market and balance are still in stock. So buy balance carried down 525. Again, the value of these two units is same, 140.0496. Of both these units, the value is what? 140.0496. So accordingly, we will distribute the value. So this will be 840,298. So this is how finished stock account will be prepared. Thereafter, let's prepare the costing P&L account also. So herein we'll transfer the cost of sales, that is 840,298. Now we will calculate the sales value. So herein it is given that the units, 6,000 units of finished goods were sold at a profit of 15% on cost. So let's assume the cost is 100, the profit will be 15% of the cost. So sales value will be 9,66,343. How come I got this figure? That is 840,298 into 115%. This is how I got this figure. Now, herein the abnormal gain amount that is transferred to costing P&L is 18,459. So by abnormal gain and abnormal loss also, we have got the figure that is 6,322. So this is what we will get. 1 second, let me check that this part of board is visible or not. Yes. So we will get the net profit. So this is the way we have to solve the question. If you guys have any doubts or queries, you guys can please post. In the previous session, few students were asking how to prepare finished stock account, costing P&L accounts. I have discussed everything in this question. Jayendra, as I said, you can prepare normal loss account for process first also. So it will be to process first and buy bank. The amount will be same. So I have ignored this part in the calculation or presentation. Anyone else having any doubts or queries? Yes, anyone? Yes, Dharani, Banipreet Kaur, Gurmeet, Kirti, Mahalakshmi, Anshu, Bharat, Jayendra, Kaushik, Kinari, Sanju, Almas, Ananya. Anyone having any doubts? Sneha, Samohini, any doubts? Nikhil, Rajita. Okay, so Buma, if you have to prepare only those accounts which the examiner do ask, I mean, no need to do extra or additional exercise. You will not get marks anything extra. So whatever the question is asking, you have to prepare the accounts accordingly. So I am preparing all these accounts just for your reference. So giving you 3 to 4 minutes time to copy everything. I request you guys to please copy at least normal loss, abnormal gain account. Rest everything is there in the study material. Rest those who want to copy anything else, you guys can please copy. Further, do write your comments that what you have understood from this question. This question is nothing but revision of what we have discussed in the previous session. So giving you 2 to 3 minutes time to copy everything. Those who want to copy, but at least I suggest you guys to copy normal loss and abnormal gain account. Uh, okay, Edwin sir, please unmute Kinari. Yes, Kinari.
Good morning, sir.
Very good morning, my dear. Tell me.
So, why we did not prepare normal loss account after process one?
You can prepare, yeah, because see, it will be very simple. Simply to process first account and buy bank. That's it. So, I
Okay,
mean,
no
I
calculation
have
of
prepared
abnormal
this
loss.
specifically since abnormal gain is there. Else, it's up to you. You can prepare. You can write it at here also. To process first account, buy bank account with the same amount. So that's okay.
Okay, okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Priyanshi, generally the examiner do ask such type of questions for 8 marks. Rajita, I'm not getting what is 20%, what is 20%. I'm not getting. Samohini, when talking about the costing P&L, see herein we will transfer the cost of the units that are sold. Herein we will transfer he will write the sales amount. And now these two figures, see, herein it is two costing P&L, so I have written by abnormal gain. And in abnormal loss, it was by costing P&L, so I have written two abnormal loss. That's it. And this amount will be the balancing figure. This is the easiest part of the question. Rajita, what all doubts you have, you guys? You can please post. Samohini, I hope it is clear. In fact, this is the easiest of all the accounts. So straight away, the cost of the units that are sold, their sale value, the value of abnormal loss and abnormal gain, this net profit will be the balancing figure. Anything else, Samohini? Rajita, what all queries you have? Can you please post? Yes, Priyanshi. Samohini, I hope it is clear. Samohini. See, this is the cost 840298. Now, see, the profit is 15% on cost. So, if the cost is 100, profit will be 15%. So, 15. So, cost plus profit will be my sales, that is 115. So, this is how I got this figure 966343. This is the basic calculation. Okay, admin sir, please unmute Mr. Durganand Thakur. Admin sir, please unmute Mr. Durganand Thakur.
Yes sir, good morning.
Good morning Mr. Thakur, tell me.
सर ये फिनिश्ड गुड के क्रेडिट साइड में जो अमाउंट आया है वो नहीं समझ में आया है.
कौन सा अमाउंट कहना चाहते हैं आप?
ये सर ये दोनों.
अच्छा एक बात बताइए, ये जो 6525 यूनिट्स है, आप ही बता देंगे आंसर. ये जो 6525 यूनिट्स है, ये कहाँ से आए थे?
प्रोसेस कॉस्ट मतलब प्रोसेस 2 से.
प्रोसेस 2 से आए थे, करेक्ट. 6525 यूनिट्स का पर यूनिट वैल्यू कितना था?
140.0496.
Perfect, well said. So the value of these 6525 unit is 140.0496. अब ये जो 6525 यूनिट्स थे, उसमें से 6000 यूनिट्स आपने बेच दिए और 525 यूनिट्स अभी भी पड़े हैं, बराबर?
यस सर.
अब ये इनका भी वैल्यू क्या होगा? 525 यूनिट्स का 140.0496 होगा और 6000 यूनिट्स का भी वैल्यू क्या होगा? 140.0496 होगा, राइट?
यस सर.
जरा कैलकुलेट करके देखिए. 6000 into 140.0496.
दोनों को सर एक साथ करके ये टू बाय बैलेंस शीट के नीचे
भाई मेरे सीधा सा कॉन्सेप्ट है. 6525 यूनिट्स थे, उसमें से 6000 यूनिट बेच दिए और 525 यूनिट अभी भी हमारे पास है. वैल्यू तो 140.0496 ही होगा ना?
यस सर.
कैलकुलेट करके देखो. यस सर मत बोलो, कैलकुलेट करो. आ रहा है?
सर ये तो 913824 आता है.
6000 into 140.0496. वापस से कैलकुलेशन करो. कैलकुलेटर में एरर आ रहा है आपके. वापस से कैलकुलेट करो. 6000 into 140.0496.
यस सर.
आ गया?
840296.
क्या? 840297.6, right?
Yes, sir.
बस आ गया फिर.
98.
ठीक है.
Okay, sir.
All
जी.
good?
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Rohan Sahu, sir. Okay, Rohan Sahu, you were facing queries related to finished stock account. I hope it is clear now. In the previous session, you mentioned, sir, there are problem in finished stock accounts. I hope this part is clear, Rohan. See herein, I think, Rohan, the question is asking us to prepare process first, process second, and finished stock account. So no need to prepare the any other account if the examiner is not asking. So you have to follow the instructions that are given in the question. एग्जामिनर जो बोलता है आपको वही प्रिपेयर करना है. अगर आपने कुछ एक्स्ट्रा प्रिपेयर किया उसके कोई भी मार्क्स नहीं है. Anyone else with any doubts or queries? Booma, any doubt? Banipreet, Gurmeet, Dharani, any doubts? It's up to you, Samohini. Whatever the way you want to calculate, you can calculate. It's very easy. And I mean, what? But please check the figures, huh? Anyways, done with this explanation now. So now we are done with this question. That is, we have covered all the concepts in detail as regards normal loss, abnormal gain, the process accounts and all. So we are done with the basic part of the chapter. Now let's discuss one more part of the chapter wherein the output of a particular process is transferred to the next process at cost plus profit. See, till now we were discussing that whatever the cost of the process is, it is to be transferred to the next process. But what if in case the output of a particular process is next transferred to the next process at cost plus profit? So let's start with a new question. Again, the same question is there in the study material also. I'm discussing illustration number 6 from the study material. And those who want to refer my material, it is example number 7. So what if in case the output of a particular process is transferred to the next process at cost plus profit? Illustration number 6 of study material, or you can refer my set also. It is example number 7. So A Limited produces product AXC, which passes through two processes before it is completed and transferred to the finished stock. The following data relates for the month of October, wherein the opening stock is given, the direct material is given, direct wages are given, factory overheads are given, closing stock is also given, and inter-process profit included in opening stock is given. So herein we can see that there is an inter-process profit that is included in the opening stock. So the output are transferred to the next process at cost plus profit. Further, see, the output of process first is transferred to process second at 25% profit on the transfer price. So herein the output of process first is transferred to the next process at a profit of 25% of the transfer price, that is 25% of the sales. Further, the output of process second is transferred to finished goods or finished stock account at 20% profit on transfer price. So from first to second, it is 25% on transfer price, and second to finished stock, it is 20% of the transfer price. Further, it is given that stock in process is valued at prime cost. Further, finished stock is valued at the price that is received from process second. So the stock in process is valued at prime cost. However, when talking about the finished stock valuation, it is valued at the price that is received from process second. Further, the sales during the period are given, that is 1,40,000. You are required to prepare process account, finished stock account, showing the profit element at each stage. So let's start with this question. We'll write down the cost, profit, and total. Herein also, the cost, the profit amount, and the total amount. Since the question is asking us to show the profit element at each stage, so this is the way we will prepare the process account. So let's start with opening stock. The opening stock is 7,500. No profit involved, so 7,500. Thereafter, the direct material, that is 15,000. Thereafter, direct wages, it is 11,200. Now see, closing stock we can show here also on the credit side, or alternatively we can deduct it from here also. So both the approaches are correct. So herein the total of these three will be 33,700 Now closing stock, either we can show on the credit side also, or we can deduct it from here also. Both the approaches are correct. So when talking about closing stock, it is given as 3,700. So this will be 30,000. This will be 30,000. Now further the factory overheads are also given, that is 10,500. So my cost of the process will be how much? That will be 40,500, 40,500. Now very important, the same cost amount will be transferred here. That is by process second. Now it is given in the question that the output of the process first is transferred to the next process at 25% profit on transfer price. Profit is 25% on transfer price. So 40,500 is equals to 75. So how much will be 100? So this will be 54,000. So my profit element will be 13,500. So we can write the profit also. So 40,500 is my cost, 13,500 is my profit, and total will be 54,000. And the same goes here also. So this is how process first will be prepared. Very good, Kinari. Anyone having any doubts or queries, you guys can please post. I'll be erasing this part because I have to prepare process second account, and the space is the constraint. So if you guys have any doubts or queries, you guys can please post. See, it is 25% profit on transfer price. This is what generally you have learned in 11th or 12th. So if the transfer price, see 25% on transfer price. So transfer price will be 100. Profit is 25. So my cost will be 75. See, profit on transfer price. So transfer price, whatever it is given, you have to take it as 100. My profit is 25. So my sales is 100. Profit is 25. So cost will be 75. So I have the cost 40,500. It is equals to 75. And we want to calculate the transfer price, that is 100. So we will multiply it by 100. Any doubts, Rohan? I hope it is clear, Mr. Mujahid. Samohini, Rajita, any doubts? Nikhil, any doubts? Priyanshi, Tak, any doubts? So now herein we will write the opening stock. Now see, herein the opening stock of process second is 9,000 rupees. Further, see, it is given that inter-process profit included in opening stock, it is 1,500. So inter-process profit that is included in opening stock, it is 1,500. So the cost of the opening stock will be 7,500. See, opening stock of process second क्या represent करता है? The inputs that are received from process first. और प्रोसेस फर्स्ट से जो भी आउटपुट आ रहा है वो कैसे आ रहा है? कॉस्ट प्लस प्रॉफिट पे आ रहा है. सो हियर ये जो स्टॉक है वो क्या है? बेसिकली द इनपुट्स दैट आर रिसीव फ्रॉम द आउटपुट दैट इज रिसीव फ्रॉम प्रोसेस फर्स्ट. तो उसमें प्रॉफिट एलिमेंट है, दैट्स व्हाई देयर इज अ प्रॉफिट. नाउ we'll write the additional input that are received from process first. That was 40,500. 13,500 and 54,000. Now let's start with material and wages. Direct material and direct wages. So my direct material is 15,750 and 11,250 is my wages. Now see, very important guys, the second line of the additional notes, wherein see the stock in process is valued at prime cost. जो stock in process है वो किस पे value करेंगे? Prime cost. That is, they are talking about the closing stock. That is, closing stock is to be valued at prime cost. So let's calculate the prime cost, because see, prime cost includes direct material, direct wages, and direct expenses. Since direct expenses are not given, so material and wages will constitute prime cost. So here 9,000 plus 54,000 plus 15,750 plus 11,250. So this is 90,000. This is 15,000. and this is 75,000. Now we have to subtract closing stock. And all this exercise is done to identify the profit on closing stock. So see herein, the closing stock is 4,500. The closing stock is 4,500. Now we have to calculate the profit element and the total cost. So see, this closing stock is 4,500. So we can say 15,000 profit is on 90,000. So how much profit will be on 4,500? So profit on, see, 15,000 profit is on 90,000. 15,000 profit is on 90,000. So how much profit will be on 4,500? 750. So 750 will be the profit and 3,750 will be the cost. And that we need to reduce. Opening stock, add all the cost minus closing stock. So this will be 14,250. This will be 85,500. This will be 71,250. In this, we will add all the factory overheads. So my factory overheads are 4,500. So my factory overheads are 4,500. So our total cost of this process will be how much? This will be 90,000. This will be 14,250. And this will be 75. If you guys have any doubts till now, you guys can please post your queries. Very good, everyone. So Nikhil, Kinari, Ananya, anyone having any doubts? Rohan, Gurmeet, Mujahid. Almas, Prem Kumar, Kaushik, Anshu, Sneha, Sunil Kumar, Neeraj, Dharani, Jayendra. Anyone having any doubts, guys? Miss Thanmozi, Krishna. Anyone having any doubts? Krishna, any doubts? Thanmoji, any doubts? Okay. So now we'll transfer the output to the finished stock account. Again, see, this part is the key. This is the cost to the company till date. 75750 is the cost to the company. So 75750 is the cost to the company till date. But when taking every process as a separate profit center, the cost is 90,000. So herein, when talking about the value of finished goods, see, it is 90,000. Again, the profit is on transfer price, that is 20% profit on transfer price. Again, see, this is the cost to the company. In this, no profit is included, neither for process first nor for process second. But when talking about the cost for process second, it is 90,000. So here in 90,000 divided by 80%. Because the profit is 20%, so this will be 80%. So this will be 1,12,500. So total profit till date is 36,750. The profit that is received from process first is 14,250. So the profit for process second is how much? 36,750 minus 14,250. That is 22,500. So this is the cost to the company till date. Total profit till date and total cost plus profit till date. This is the way process second account is to be prepared. If you guys have any doubts or queries, you guys can please post. Waiting for your queries, guys. Banpreet Kaur, which profit you are talking about? When talking about this part, see herein, the total cost of the process second is 90,000. It is 20% profit on transfer price. So that's why I have taken the cost as 80. So how much will be 100? 1,12,500. This is my balancing figure. This is my balancing figure. No, there will be no change. Kinari. Anyone else with any doubts or queries? Those who want to copy this explanation can please copy, giving you 2 minutes time. In the meanwhile, those who have any doubts or queries, you guys can please post. See, Samohini, 75750 is what? The cost to the company. There is no profit element in 75750. That is neither of process first and nor of process second. So herein, when talking about the cost for process second, it will be 90,000 only. This 90,000 includes the total cost till date plus the profit of process first. That's why I have calculated this amount 1,12,500 on 90,000, not on 75750. 75750 mein profit of process first is not included. Rohan Sao, as I said, 75750 is the total cost of the company. It doesn't include the profit of process first. But when talking about to calculate the total amount, we have to include the cost plus the profit of process first. This is how we will get the total amount 90,000, and accordingly we will calculate the total value on 90,000. Anything else, Rohan and Samohini? I hope it is clear, Rohan. This 75750 is what the cost to the company. But when talking about the cost of process second, I mean till date, it is 90,000. 75750 is the cost to the company, and 90,000 is the cost to the process second because it includes the total cost plus the profit of process first. Now let's start with the last part, that is finished stock account. Now opening stock we have that is given in the question. It is 22,500. The inter-process profit that is included in opening stock, it is 8250. So the cost of the opening stock will be 22,500 minus 8250. So this will be 14,250. Now from process second, we have received 75750, and this was 1,12,500. So this was 36,750. Now, guys, very important. See, read the question carefully. The stock in process is valued at prime cost. So the stock of the process second is valued at prime cost. But very important, finished stock. This finished stock is valued at the price at which it is received from process second. So स्टॉक इन प्रोसेस हम लोग किस पे वैल्यू करते थे? प्राइम कॉस्ट पे. बट वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, द फिनिश स्टॉक किस पे वैल्यू करना है? द प्राइस दैट इज रिसीव फ्रॉम प्रोसेस सेकंड. सो नो नीड टू कैलकुलेट द प्राइम कॉस्ट. विल सिंपली सबट्रैक्ट क्लोजिंग स्टॉक. द टोटल क्लोजिंग स्टॉक अमाउंट इज हाउ मच? 11,250. and it is not to be valued at prime cost. ये किस पे value करना है? As per received from process second. So it is not to be valued at prime cost. So herein we can say 36,750 is the profit on 1,12,500. So how much profit will be on 11,250? So this is the way we will value the closing stock. If you guys have any doubts or queries till now, you guys can please post. Thereafter, we'll transfer the amount to costing P&L. By costing P&L, the cost till date is 82425. And see, these units are sold in the market at the rate.
Not quite sure how to help you with that.
These units are sold in the market at the rate 1,40,000 rupees. So my total profit till date is how much? 1,40,000. So this is the profit for the company, 57,575. This is the total profit for the company. This is 16,250. This is what my balancing figure. This is also, we can say, our balancing figure because this is given. So total cost to the company is 82425. Total profit for the company is 57,575, and the total sales value is 1,40,000. Very good. Admin sir, can you please unmute Kinari?
Good morning, sir.
Can you please just tell me?
So my question was, this profit which we got 57,575, and the profit up to the transfer price that was 41,325. So my question was, this 41,325 is on till date.
See, this is the profit element for process first and process second. This is the amount till process first and second, and the total profit for the company as a whole, it is 57,575. See, this method is to be applied when every process is to be treated as a separate profit center.
Okay, so at every center we will have profit.
At every level, we will calculate the profit. So every process will be treated as a separate profit center or responsibility center.
Okay. So any example where such things happen practically?
प्रैक्टिकली वी कैन से कई कंपनीज क्या करती है जनरली कि मतलब हर डिवीजन को एक सेपरेट प्रॉफिट सेंटर डिक्लेयर करती है. सो ओवरऑल कंपनी प्रॉफिट में रहती है, बट अगेन दैट हर आई मीन वी कैन से एट एवरी लेवल यू हैव टू उनका प्रॉफिट अलग अलग एलोकेट होता है.
Okay.
It may vary from company to company, Kinari.
Okay.
I hope this part is clear. Practical part. Kinari?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the key point was here in the calculation of this part, that is 36,750 divided by 1,12,500 into 11,250. That is 3,675. Generally, in these types of questions, there will be no abnormal and normal loss. But if it is given, then again the same treatment that we have followed in the previous question. Prem Kumar. Anyone else with any doubts or queries? So fine, let's take a break of 15 minutes. Thereafter, I'll be back after 15 minutes with the next part of the chapter. So, admin sir. और सर अभी स्मूथ जा रहा है ना सब कुछ? So we are done with the inter-process profit part also. Now let's proceed further with the most important part of the chapter, that is work in progress. In most of the cases, examiner do ask question relating to work in progress only. So let's start with this part, that is work in progress. Let's say, let me discuss this part practically, wherein let's say my inputs are 10,000. Let's say my normal loss is at the rate of 10% of inputs. So it's 1,000. So I am expecting an output of how much? 9,000 units. Now, of this 9,000 units, 8,200 units were finished and transferred to next process. So of this 9,000 units, 8,200 units were finished and transferred to the next process, but remaining 800 units are still not complete. Or we can say still in process. So these 8,200 units were transferred to the next process, but the remaining 800 units are still in process. So this 800 units are what? My work in progress. So when talking about work in progress, what is work in progress? Units started or input introduced into the process, but remain unfinished by year end. So this is what we call as work in progress. So what is work in progress? When talking about the meaning, units or inputs started for production but remains unfinished by year end is what we call as work in progress. Now the point is, for 8,200 units, we can easily value them. But the question is, how to value the units that are still in the process. ये जो 800 units है, इसका valuation कैसे करें? So when talking about the valuation of these work in progress, the concept of equivalent production comes into the picture. Now, what is the concept of equivalent production? I'll be discussing this part in detail. But as of now, I request you guys to please copy this explanation. This part is very, very important from examination point of view. So I request you guys to please copy the explanation. And thereafter, I'll be explaining in detail what is the concept of equivalent production. Giving you 2 minutes time, please copy. I repeat again, guys, examiner do ask question on this part only most of the attempts. So please pay attention, and whatever the queries you have, you guys can please post. Now, let me discuss this concept with the help of few examples. Let's say my process cost is 1,80,000 rupees. The cost of my process is 1,80,000 rupees. For the further, the inputs are, let's say, 10,000 units. My normal loss, let's say at the rate of 10% of inputs, let's say 1,000 rupees, 1,000 units. So my output will be how much? 9,000 units. Assuming no normal loss, assuming no abnormal loss and assuming no scrap value of normal loss. Assuming no abnormal loss and no scrap value of normal loss. Can you guys tell me what will be the cost per unit? Or can you guys tell me what will be the cost of good units? What will be the cost per unit? Waiting for your answers. What will be the cost per unit? Everyone waiting for your answers. Very good, Rohan. Very good, Krishna. Very good, Kinari. Very good, Dharani. Priyanshi, very good. Almas, please check the number of zeros. Banpreet, Almas. Prem Kumar, good. Yes, Samohini, Rajita. Nikhil. So as everyone says that yes, the cost per unit will be 1,80,000 divided by 9,000 units. That is rupees 20 per unit. Rupees 20 per unit. Now this 20 rupees 20 per unit is the what? The cost per unit of the units that are 100% processed. These units are 100% processed. Since these units are transferred to the next process, so 9,000 was my output and it was transferred to the next process. So this rupees 20 per unit is what? The cost of the units that are 100% processed. So this is a very easy case. Herein, we can easily calculate the cost of the units that are 100% processed. And once we get the value of the units, I repeat again, guys, once we get the value of the units that are 100% processed, we can easily get the units, we can easily get the value of the units that are, not 100% complete. So let's see. So here in the units that are 100% complete, we have calculated the value as 20 rupees. So if we can say the units are 80% processed, the value will be how much? See, rupees 20 is the value of the units that are 100% processed. So the units that are 80% processed, their value will be how much? 16 rupees. The units that are 50% processed, their value will be rupees 10. The units that are 20% processed, their value will be rupees 4. So my point is, guys, if we are able to calculate, I repeat again, if we are able to calculate the value of the units that are 100% processed, we can easily calculate the value of unfinished goods. Now, this is a very simple case. Now, let's take a different scenario. Let's take a different scenario wherein, let's say my process cost is 1,20,000 rupees. My inputs are, let's say, 10,000 units. Assuming no normal or abnormal loss, I'll get the same output of 10,000 units. Assuming there is no normal loss or abnormal loss, I'll be getting an output of 10,000 units. But when talking about the output, we have got the output in three parts. We have got 5,000 units that were 100% complete. We have got 3,000 units that were 80% complete. And remaining 2,000 units that were, let's say, 30% complete. So हम लोगों ने 10,000 inputs किया, मगर output कैसे आया? 5,000 units were 100% processed. 3,000 units at the year end were only 80% processed, and 2,000 units were 30% processed. Now the point is how to calculate the cost per unit. How to value these 5,000 units, 3,000 units, 2,000 units. This is the big question. I repeat again, we made an inputs of 10,000 units, assuming there is no normal or abnormal loss. We got the output as follows. Wherein 5,000 units were 100% complete, 3,000 units were 80% complete, and 2,000 units were 30% complete. Now the point is how to value these 5,000, 3,000, and 2,000 units. So how to value these units? So now to calculate the value of these 5,000, 3,000, 2,000 units, the concept of equivalent production comes into the picture. We will calculate the equivalent number of units. So, when talking about the first part, see, 5,000 units were 100% processed. So, we can say equivalent units. So 5,000 units were 100% processed. It means the equivalent number of units will be 5,000. Second point, 3,000 units will be, 3,000 units are 80% processed. It means the equivalent number of units will be how much? 2,400 units. 3,000 units are 80% processed. It means the equivalent number of units are 2,400 units. Now, what it says, guys, what it means that the cost of these 3,000 units that are 80% complete will be equal to the cost of 2,400 units that are 100% complete. What it says that the cost of these 3,000 units that are 80% complete the cost of these 3,000 units that are 80% complete will be equal to 2,400 units that are 100% complete. When talking about the third part also, again, 2,000 units are 30% complete. It means we can say the equivalent number of units will be 600 units. Again, the same way, the cost of these 2,000 units that are 30% complete will be equal to the cost of 600 units that are 100% complete. I'm writing this for your reference. The cost of the cost of 3,000 units that are 80% complete will be equal to 2,400 units that are 100% complete. So herein we have calculated the equivalent number of units that are 100% complete. So my total equivalent number of units will be 8,000 units that are 100%. So now we can easily calculate the cost per unit. My process cost is 1,20,000. My equivalent number of units are 8,000. My equivalent number of units are 8,000. So my cost per unit will be how much? Rupees 15. So rupees 15 is what? The cost of the units that are 100% complete. What is rupees 15? The cost of the units that are 100% complete. So we have got the cost that of the units that are 100% complete is 15 rupees. So now we have three categories. The units that are 80% complete, their cost will be how much? 15 into 80%, that is rupees 12. The cost of the units that are 30% complete, it will be how much? 15 into 30%, that is 4.5. So now we have got the cost per unit, so we can easily calculate the value for the same. So herein, when talking about the first category is how many units? 5,000 units. See, herein the major question is what? The major headache is what? Why we are doing all this exercise? To calculate the value of 5,000, 3,000 and 2,000 units. So herein, 5,000 units are 100% complete, and for 100% complete, what is the cost? 15. So this will be 75,000. Again, 3,000 units are 80% complete. The 80% completed units cost is how much? 12. So that will be 36,000. When talking about the third category, we have 2,000 units that are how much complete? 30% complete. Their value is how much? 4.5. So 4.5. This will be 9,000. And the total will be what? How much? 1,20,000. Anyone having any doubts or queries? Waiting for your queries? Yes, Prem Kumar, Banipreet, Bhuma, Kinari, Dharani, Rohan Sahu, Priyanshi Tak. I hope it is clear why we are doing all this exercise to calculate the value of equivalent number of, to calculate the value of output. So herein, we were getting only one category of output, so it was very easy for us to calculate the value. But in this case, we are getting three categories of output. Few are 100% process, few are 80%, few are 30%. So in this case, when the units are not 100% complete, we calculate the equivalent number of units. These equivalent number of units are 100% complete. So once we get the value of 100% processed units, it's very easy for us to calculate the value of semi-finished or unfinished goods. So accordingly, we have calculated the per unit value, and this is how we have got the total value of 75, 36 and 9,000, and this is how this cost of 1,20,000 will be distributed among these three. Anyone having any doubts? Yes, Rohan, Bhuma, Dharani, Kinari, Prem Kumar. I'm asking individually to all. This concept is very important, guys. So whatever running in your mind, you guys can please post your queries. I'll be discussing one practical question also. Banipreet, Neeraj Patel, Nikhil, Gurmeet. Yes, I'll sum up. Don't worry. See, alternatively, we can calculate the value as also. See, alternatively, we can also calculate the value as, for the first category, see, we have got the value of 15 rupees for 100% processed unit. So, 5,000 into 15. That is 75,000. Now, very important, guys. As I said, the cost of 3,000 units that are 80% complete will be equal to 2,400 units that are 100% complete. So, ये जो cost है 3,000 units की that are 80% complete will be equal to 2,400 units that are 100% complete. And for 100% completed output, how much is the cost per unit? 15. So this will be 36,000. Again, the cost of 2,000 units that are 30% complete will be equal to 600 units that are 100% complete. So again, this will be 9,000. So you can calculate the value as per this approach also, both the approaches are correct. So as I said, the cost of 3,000 units that are 80% complete will be equal to the cost of 2,400 units that are 100% complete. Yes, Sunil Kumar. See, 10,000, Miss Dharani. Okay, so Ms. Dharani sir, while calculating cost per unit, we are dividing cost with 8,000 units. Why? Because it's equivalent to 10,000 units. Yes, 10,000 unfinished goods will be equal to 8,000 100% finished goods. Yes, Gurmeet, well said. How come this 12 rupees? 15 into 80%. How come this 4.5? 15 into 30%. Anyone having any doubts? Kinari, any doubts now? I repeat again, guys. In this part, we were getting only one category of output, so it was very easy for us to calculate the cost of units that are 100% processed. And once we are able to get the cost of the units that are 100% processed, we can easily calculate the value of units that are unprocessed or semi-processed. So herein we were getting the units, cost per unit 20 rupees of the units that are 100% processed. So for 80%, it will be 16. For 50%, 20 into 50%, it was 10. But now, when talking about this scenario, let's say my process cost is 1,20,000. My inputs are 10,000. Assuming no normal loss or abnormal loss, we are getting output in three categories. 5,000 units, 100% complete. 3,000 units, 80% complete. 2,000 units, 30% complete. Now the question is how to value these three types of output. So ये तीनों का वैल्यू कैसे निकाले? 5,000, 3,000, 2,000. So herein the concept of equivalent production comes into the picture, wherein we calculated the equivalent number of units. That is 5,000 units, 100% processed. So 5,000, 3,000 units that are 80% processed. So we can say the cost of 3,000 units that are 80% complete will be equal to 2,400 units that are 100% complete. So 3,000 into 80%. Similarly, the cost of 2,000 units that are 30% complete will be equal to 600 units that are 100% complete. So accordingly, we calculated the 100% processed unit, that is 8,000 units. And accordingly, 1,20,000 divided by 8,000, we have got the cost, that is rupees 15. That is the cost of the units that are 100% processed. So 15 is the cost of 100% processed unit. So for 80%, it will be 12. For 30%, it will be 4.5. So now we can easily calculate the value. 5,000 into 15, 3,000 units are 80% complete. So this will be 12, 3,000 into 12, and 2,000 units are 30% complete. So their value will be 4.5. This is the one way to calculate. But as I said, the cost of 3,000 units that are 80% complete will be equal to 2,400 units that are 100% complete. So alternatively, you can calculate the value as 5,000 into 15, 2,400 into 15, and 600 into 15. This is the concept of equivalent production. If you guys have any doubts or queries, you guys can please post. This part is very, very important from examination point of view. So I want you guys to be thorough with this part and concept. I request you guys to please copy this explanation, giving you 4 minutes time, because again, I have to discuss one question. I mean, how to present it in exams. Thereafter, in the coming session, we'll be discussing 4-5 questions on equivalent production only. So I request you guys to please copy. In the meanwhile, just copy the explanation, plus along with it, write your comments, what you have understood from this concept. This concept is the key. Every time you can't check recorded lectures, so prepare your notes. What you will write, you will remember it forever. So please, please, please write down the concepts in your language, giving you 3 to 4 minutes time. Uma, I think you are not over Zoom. Uma, if you want me, I mean, if you want to speak to me, you have to come over Zoom. Few more points need to be addressed, Rohan Sao, so I'll be covering this part in the coming session. This part is very, very important from examination point of view. So I'll be discussing 3 to 4 questions on this part. Yes, Banipreet Kaur. I request you guys to please open the notes what I have provided. Slide number 15, the concept of equivalent production. Slide number 15, the concept of equivalent production. I'm sharing the screen for your reference so you guys can take the screenshot. Please take the screenshot. Those who have not downloaded, please take the screenshot. I'm discussing this question. So let's start with this part. So inputs are 10,000 units, material is 49,000, labor it is 19,200, overheads are 28,800, units transferred to the next process that is 9,000 units. Now closing work in progress is 1,000 units and the percentage of completion for material, labor and overheads is different. See, अब तक जो हमने डिस्कस किया उसमें एक ही था कि जो भी यूनिट्स है either 50% complete है और 60% complete है. But here in these 1,000 units, again, the percentage of completion varies from material and labor and overhead. So equivalent number of units जो है हम लोग separate निकालेंगे material के and labor and overheads के. So let's start with this question. Let's prepare process account now. See the material, it is 49,000 rupees and 10,000 units. When talking about labor costs, it is 19,200 and overheads are 28,800. No normal loss. So the units that are transferred to the next process. So by process second, 9,000 units were transferred that were 100% complete. And by work in progress, 1,000 units. अब 1,000 units जो है 40% 50% completion कुछ भी नहीं दिया है. They have given that for these 1,000 units, material work is done 80% and labor and overheads work done it is 60%. Now, So the total cost is 97,000. We have to distribute the cost among these two, that is 9,000 and 1,000 units. Now see, herein we have to calculate the equivalent number of units. See, if the percentage of completion is given straight away, that is 60%, 70%, we would have done it in similar way, the way we have discussed the previous question. But herein the percentage of completion is different for material and labor and overhead. So equivalent number of units will be calculated separately for material and labor and overhead. So guys, always remember you have to prepare statement of equivalent production. That is particulars, total, now material we have to calculate equivalent number of units separately, and labor and overheads, since the percentage of completion for labor and overheads is same, so we can calculate it together. The percentage of completion and equivalent number of units, the percentage of completion and equivalent number of units. So we will be calculating equivalent number of units in a presentable way. So this is, we can say, the best way to present. So see, for units that are transferred, how many units are transferred? 9,000. Since they are transferred to the next process, so they are 100% complete. So 9,000. They are 100% complete for labor and overhead, so that are 9,000. When talking about work in progress, the number of units are 1,000. Now, when talking about the material part, they are 80% complete. So equivalent number of units will be 800. For labor and overheads, the percentage of completion is how much? 60%. So equivalent number of units will be 600. So for material, it will be 9,800 units. And for labor and overhead, it will be 9,600 units. Anyone having any doubts? Since in the previous question, the percentage of completion was not given separately. It was straight away given that these units are 100% process, these are 80% process, these are 60% process. But herein, for these 1,000 units, the percentage of completion varies from material and labor and overhead. So percentage of completion of material, it is 80%. For labor and overheads, it is 60%. Now let's calculate the cost per unit. Again, see, we can't calculate the total cost directly. We have to separately calculate for material, labor, and overheads. So when talking about material cost, the total material cost, it is 49,000 divided by number of units are 9,800. For labor, the cost is 19,200 and the units are 9,600. For overheads, the cost is 28,800 and units are 9,600. Very good, Kinari. So this will be 5, this will be 2, and this will be 3. Since space is the constant, so rupees 10. Now these 10 rupees is the cost for what? The units that are 100% processed. This rupees 10 is the cost for what? Units that are 100% processed. Now, so we can easily calculate the value of finished goods. That is rupees 10 into the units transferred, that is 9,000. So 9,000 into 10, that is 90,000. When talking about the calculation of cost per unit for work in progress, again, for material, see the cost is how much? 5. This cost is for 100% processed. So for 80% processed, how much it will be? 5 into 80%, that is 4. For labor, the cost of 100% is how much? 2. For work in progress, the percentage of completion is 60%. So 2 into 60%, 1.2. For overheads, again, the cost per unit is how much? 3. For 100% processed. So for 60% complete, they are completed by 60%. So this will be 1.8. So 7. So work in progress value will be how much? 1,000 units into 7. 7,000. So this will be 90,000. This will be 7,000. Anyone having any doubts or queries? Very good, Kinari. Yes, Banipreet. Rohan Sahu. Kinari, any doubts? Bhuma. Gurmeet, Dharani, Sunil Kumar asking individually to everyone. Prem Kumar, Almas. Priyanshi Tak, any doubts? Krishna. See, alternatively, as I said, you can calculate the value of work in progress as I said. See, 1,000 units that are 80% complete, their cost will be equal to what? 800 units that are 100% complete. So no need to do this exercise. Directly you can calculate the value as see, for material, how many units? Equivalent number of units? 800 into 5. For labor, how many equivalent number of units? 600 into 2. Overheads, again, equivalent number of units are how much? 600 into 3. This is also 7,000. So, if we do this directly, no need to calculate the cost per unit. अगर आप चाहें तो डायरेक्टली भी कैलकुलेट कर सकते हैं. So इससे फायदा क्या होगा? ये जो एडिशनल वर्किंग नोट है इसको बनाने की जरूरत नहीं है. Both the approaches are correct, but yes, this approach is recommended because it will save our time and there are least chances of making mistakes. So Ms. Dharani, summarizing it for you. See, ये क्वेश्चन हम लोग डायरेक्ट सॉल्व नहीं कर सकते as we have what we have done in the previous question. Reason being the percentage of completion for material and labor is different. So, 2 equivalent number of units will be calculated separately for material and labor and overheads. So, accordingly, units transferred are 100% processed. So, 9,000 100%, 9,000 100%. Now, work in progress for these 1000 units material, it is complete by 80%. So 800 are the equivalent number of units and 60% complete in respect of labor and overheads. So it is 600 units. So we have got the equivalent number of units as 9,800 and 9,600. So since we have got the equivalent number of units, what we will do first, calculate the cost per unit. So material cost is 49,000 divided by 9,800. So this will be 5. Labor cost is 19,200 divided by 9,600. So this will be 2. Overhead cost is 28,800 divided by 9,600. This is 3. So rupees 10 is the total cost of the units that are 100% processed. So finished goods, 9,000 units, 100% processed. So 9,000 into 10, 90,000 straight away. But when talking about the valuation of work in progress, we can either calculate the per unit amount and then we can calculate the total cost, or alternatively, very simple. As I said, 1,000 units that are 80% complete, their cost will be equal to 800 units that are 100% complete. So 800 into 5, 600 into 2, and 600 into 3. So this is how we will calculate the cost. I hope this part is clear, Ms. Dharani. See, rupees 10 is the cost of the units that are 100% processed. And since the units that are transferred to the next process are always 100% processed, so 9,000 into 10, that is 90,000. 5 plus 2 plus 3 is 10. I hope it is crystal clear to everyone. I want each and every student, there are almost 23, 24 students here over the Zoom and few students are over the portal. So whatever the queries you have, make sure you guys should be thorough with everything, because in the coming session, I'll be discussing few more questions. So I just want everyone to be crystal clear with the concepts. So anyone having any doubts, asking individually, again, guys. Priyanshi, are you there? Any doubts, Priyanshi? Rajita, I'm not getting what you are asking. Mr. Mujahid, Mr. Tokala, Miss Mahalakshmi. Miss Tanmozi. Thank you so much, Booma. Giving you 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes time to copy everything. Please copy. The presentation is the key. Further, the value of your work in progress, you can directly calculate or you can calculate as per this way also. Both the approaches are correct. I request you guys to please copy this part, and apart from this, do write your comments, what you have learned. So it will help you while preparing for your exams. Last 2 minutes, guys. So fine, guys. Done with this concept of equivalent production. Now, a suggestion from my side, do revise specifically the concept of equivalent production. Check the recorded lecture and do revise what I have discussed in today's class. And further try to solve the same question once again. In the coming session, I'll be discussing a few more practical problems on equivalent production, how to value work in progress, plus some more additional point, how to deal with normal loss, and abnormal gain. So before starting with the coming session, I just request you guys to please revise what I have discussed till now. In the coming session, I'll finish process costing. So thank you so much for your time and patience and for active participation in the session. Do solve few practical questions from study material and past practice manual, and be prepared, come prepared for the next session. Till then, take care. God bless you. Have a great day. Thank you. Admin sir. Yes, everything was smooth. शुरू में क्यों आ रहा था ग्लिच, समझ में नहीं आया. Don't know. चलेगा.